Hello. This training is for the Moderate Income Revolving Loan Program, or MERL, and will cover how sponsoring jurisdictions complete a program loan request with the amortization schedule for OHCS. After a sponsoring jurisdiction has provincially approved an application from a developer, they will notify OHCS of an intent to apply for funding. OHCS will then open a per quorum work center for the sponsoring jurisdictions to submit the reviewed application packet for program review. What exactly is the program loan request? Well, it's a cover page that gathers high-level information about the development team and project details in a single place for OHCS's review. It includes the initial amortization schedule showing the repayment of the requested loan amount based on assumptions provided by the sponsoring jurisdiction. This document can be customized by OHCS for sponsoring jurisdictions and will be discussed in more detail later on in this training. What is a per quorum work center? Well, Procorum is part of the software system that OHCS uses to collaborate and track affordable housing development projects. The slide deck includes a link to a 12.5-minute orientation video the OHCS Affordable Rental Housing Application Team produced for the launch of the Oregon Centralized Application Process, or ORCA, in early 2024. The MERL program will be using Procorum in the same way, so just substitute MERL when you see or hear ORCA. This video is even broken up into chapters, so if you have a specific question about Procorum, you can skip to that section. OHCS has created a program loan request checklist in Procorum under Tasks that includes the items currently on the screen. OHCS will provide the program loan request and the amortization schedule and both the for sale and rental performas to sponsoring jurisdictions as templates for them to provide to their applicants after the master agreement is signed and the sponsoring jurisdiction is assigned their Housing Finance Account Number, or HFA number. Sponsoring jurisdictions are responsible for uploading all items into the Procorum Work Center and marking the corresponding task as complete. Now, let's talk specifically about the MERL Program Loan Request, or PLR. There are two tabs to the PLR. One of them is the MERL Review Request, and the other is the Amortization Schedule. I'll walk through the different sections of this document and explain how they interact. The first parts of the PLR establish the main points of contact between OHCS and both the sponsoring jurisdiction and the county assessor's office. Even if the sponsoring jurisdiction is the county, please include a point of contact for the assessor's office. This is the entire section boxed in red here. The section blocked in purple asks if this application is a rental or homeownership project, what the sponsoring jurisdiction's HFA number is, and how many MERL applications have been submitted to OHCS as part of this submission. So for the first applications, it should show 0. This will also show whether the project is in an urban or rural region, which is automatically populated based on the county per the definition of rural sponsoring jurisdiction in the MERL manual. The sponsoring jurisdictions will fill out the amount they determined the project needs, aka the validated grant request, and both the repayment period and affordability period in years. This information will flow into the amortization schedule and will be discussed later. The next section is the development team section. Let's talk about the difference between a single asset entity or homeowner/seller versus a sponsor or developer. First, if this is a rental project, the PLR will ask for the single asset entity. If it is a homeownership project, it will ask for either the homeowner's name or the entity that will be selling these homes. The developer or sponsor section is the organization that is leading or developing these rental homes or homes for sale. This can be the same organization for homeownership, but OHCS expects that the owner of a finished rental development be a single asset entity. The last three entities being asked about are the general contractor, the architect, and any lender that is involved. We have included sections to indicate if the contractor or architect are a COBID certified entity through Business Oregon, or if the lender is a community development financial institution or CDFI. Now we get into the project development information. We're capturing the physical address of the development. If this is new construction or the conversion of an existing non-residential building, the number of buildings to be built, with the number of units/homes that will be populated based on the unit mix coming from lower down in the page, and the total costs for these projects, which should reflect the amount on the pro forma. The unit mix summary has the most common unit types listed, and in section 1 asks for the average number of square feet of each different type of unit sizes being built. In section 2, we ask for the total number of units of each size and how many of those units are being restricted at the area median income, or AMIs, in the sponsoring jurisdiction's original ordinance. Please note that if your ordinance will restrict AMIs at a lower percentage than 120%, OHCS can adjust this heading for you. Lastly, if there is a unit type being built that isn't represented in this list, please enter it into section 3 saying other unit type and fill out the other unit type line in sections 1 and 2. Lastly, on this tab is the proposed project schedule. Fill out this information based on data that the applicant provided. Also, the marketing sections will ask for lease updates if this is a rental project. Otherwise, it will assume that the homes to be sold will be listed in the MLS, or the multiple listing service. The next tab is the amortization schedule. A lot of this information will pull over from the MERL Review Request tab, such as the grant amount, the calculations for both admin fees for the sponsoring jurisdiction and the county assessor, the loan term, and the expected date of certificate of occupancy. The expected date of the receipt of the certificate of occupancy will determine when repayment of the loan will start. The third section here in green is the sponsoring jurisdiction's determination of the estimated assessed value of the property upon being completed. This value will assist with calculating the estimated annual taxes if the property were to be assessed upon receiving the certificate of occupancy. The last thing to say about this tab is that the fire district levy rate is called out specifically due to language in Senate Bill 1537 around the expectation of payment of fire district fees during the length of the affordability period. And here is the meat of the amortization schedule. This amortization schedule is based on an expectation of a 10-year loan term. However, it can expand out to 15 years if the sponsoring jurisdiction decides and gets that approved by OHCS. While this is a zero interest loan, the fee payment due to the sponsoring jurisdiction increases by 3% annually. This is called the inflationary factor and is documented in column 1. Column 2 calculates out the fire district fee, if there is one, by taking the sponsoring jurisdiction determined assessed value and multiplying it by the fire district levy rate. Column 3 shows the total fee payment due to the sponsoring jurisdiction, while column 4 shows the annual loan payment to OHCS. When there is a fire district fee, the annual loan payment to OHCS will be reduced by the amount of the fire district fee. The last section of the amortization schedule asks for 3 pieces of information. In box 1, it asks for the sponsoring jurisdiction's levy code area, which can be found on the current property tax statement. Box number 2 asks for the total sponsoring jurisdiction levy rate that is tied to that levy code, which can be found on county assessors' web pages. And 3, the current total annual taxes that are on the current tax statement. These items will assist with determining the maximum grant allowed under the program. This is the last section that can be customized for each sponsoring jurisdictions. When OHCS is provided the calculation being used to determine the estimated taxes upon construction completion, we will put it into your template for you to use. If any sponsoring jurisdictions have any questions, you can email the Merle team at merle@hcs.oregon.gov or visit OHCS's webpage to view the manual and our frequently asked questions. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to serving you.